We have to confront yet another atrocity in Gaza, the killing of 4 journalists slain by Israeli strikes on the Nasser hospital in Khan Yunis. And among the dead are Hussam al-Masri, a cameraman contracted to Reuters, Mariam Abu Daga, who had been freelancing for the Associated Press and Independent Arabia, Mohammed Salama, working for Al Jazeera, and Moaz Abu Taha, who had contributed to MBC. A 5th journalist, Hatem Khalid, also with Reuters, has been gravely wounded. This isn't an isolated event. It's part of a pattern so brutal and consistent that it defies spin or excuse. The Committee to Protect Journalists reports that nearly 200 Palestinian journalists have been killed since October 2023. To put that in perspective, more journalists have been killed in Gaza in the past 23 months than in every other war worldwide combined over the past 3 years. This makes Gaza the deadliest conflict for journalists in modern history. What makes this massacre unbearable is the manner in which it's unfolded. At first, Israeli a strike hits the hospital rooftop, killing al-Masri. Then comes the double tap, a second strike when civil defence workers and fellow journalists rush to cover the body. And in the footage we have, one sees challenges colleagues raise their hands, shielding themselves before being obliterated moments later. This isn't crossfire. This is methodical attacking. And Israel has offered the usual boilerplate. IDF doesn't target journalists as such and regrets any harm to uninvolved individuals. But this language collapses under the weight of repetition. We've heard it after every journalist's death, after every medic, every ambulance, every child is killed. The evidence points elsewhere to systemic targeting intended to silence the voices that bear witness. Al Jazeera states it plainly. This is a deliberate attempt to bury the truth. Consider what these journalists were doing. Abu Daga was reporting on malnourished children wasting away in Gaza's hospitals. Salama had documented aid seekers being shot. Al-Masri's final work was a live feed from the hospital itself, cut off at the very moment of the strike. They weren't soldiers. They were not combatants. They were the ears, eyes, and voices for a world that Israel has barred from entering Gaza. Their very presence was testimony, and testimony has become intolerable. International law could not be clearer. Journalists are civilians protected under the Geneva Conventions. To deliberately target them or to recklessly endanger them in repeated patterns is a war crime under the Rome Statute. This is not rhetoric, it is statute, and there is impunity. Where is the outrage? Western media, so quick to cry, "Je suis Charlie," when cartoonists in Paris were murdered, remains oddly muted when Arab journalists are assassinated before our eyes. The UN Special Rapporteur, Francesca Albanese, has demanded sanctions, an arms embargo, the breaking of the blockade. Her words deserve amplification. How much more must be witnessed before you act to stop this carnage? And at the heart of this horror lies a siege that has already starved Gaza's children, destroyed its water plants, gutted its health system, and now it seeks to blind the world by silencing those who record it. It's impossible to frame this as collateral damage. These were targeted killings, not of terrorists, but of truth-tellers. The attack on Gaza City, scheduled for a month's time, has already begun in reality. It's visible in these bombings of hospitals, in the executions of journalists, in the deliberate degradation of every means of civilian survival. The Israeli government believes it can act without consequence, that it can bomb, starve, and silence with impunity. It's for the international community to prove that belief wrong. In memory of Hussam al-Masri, Mariam Abu Daga, Mohammed Salama, and Moaz Abu Taha, we should be absolutely clear. Journalism is not a crime. To kill journalists is not an accident. It's a crime against humanity, and it demands accountability. Until sanctions are imposed, until weapons shipments are halted, until international law is not merely cited but enforced, this killing will continue. The blood of Gaza's journalists is on the hands not only of those who fire the missiles, but of those governments who fund, arm, and excuse them.